Marion County residents, are you ready to dig deeper into your pockets? Reaction to a proposed tax for everyone who owns a vehicle.
It's been happening year after year after year. Enough is enough. It's got to be addressed.
Plus those strong words from Carmel's mayor, why she says Marion County is soft on crime, and the pushback from the prosecutor she's blaming.
And it was another stunner of a day with temperatures getting close to 80 yet again. Now we head into the weekend, and it looks like the wonderful weather may continue.
All right, welcome on in here. Thanks so much for joining us for 13 News at 4. It's a rinse and repeat kind of week for our weather department because it's just a beautiful skies, sunny and warm weather.
Yeah, I think Sean was giving me a crazy fact that it took me a second to actually digest. What was it? The last time that we've had 7 days in a row with no rain was back in October.
Yeah, when we get locked into a pattern, this is the kind of pattern you want to get locked into, right? After you have a very wet spring. And yeah, it's not often that we go that long, but rain has returned to the forecast. Not immediate. It's going to be way down the line. In the meantime, heading into the weekend, we're looking pretty good. Let me start with temperatures because I think that's what most folks are going to be looking at all the way through the weekend. We're currently sitting right at 80 degrees. That's the current number. And a little bit closer, you can see we've got some upper 70s and low 80s, even some mid 80s showing up. I still think that Meridian Hills value is a little bit on the higher side. Again, these temperatures are a reflection of the pattern that's in place. We do have mostly sunny skies with some high thin clouds that have been drifting throughout the day. If you watched us yesterday, I said, hey, I'm going to show you this satellite and radar perspective, and it's going to look exactly like this tomorrow, and it does. It looks exactly the same. It's almost as if it hasn't moved very much. Showers to the south and west, that is going to stay to the south and west. We have drier air that's been kind of moving our way. We've got it filtering in, and overall, it does certainly feel a little bit less humid than it did earlier in the day yesterday. Temperatures through the rest of this evening will be very comfortable, down into the 70s, even still by 9 p.m. overnight. Seeing the temperatures drop back down into the 60s, but I think we're headed for 50s yet again for tonight just because we do have relatively dry air in place. This is a pattern of a forecast that will continue to repeat from the 50s in the morning. That's where we will start, and then warming up into the afternoon into the upper 70s, maybe a degree cooler for tomorrow and into the weekend. Plenty of sunshine still expected. In just a few minutes, I'll be back with a look at what you can expect for the weekend forecast. And I said rain has returned to the forecast. I'll let you know when that arrives, where it is on the 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Rob, thank you so much. Democratic leaders on the City County Council want to increase the taxes you pay to register your car with the state in order to raise money for street repairs.
Yeah, not everybody is super happy about this, though, including the mayor, who says this is not the solution. Rich Nye tells us what it would cost you and the reaction from car owners.
The City County Council is proposing a long-term funding source for street repairs and maintenance by raising vehicle taxes in Indianapolis.
I want the roads fixed, obviously, right? We see issues with the potholes and people complaining on social media about the roads and, oh, I have a flat tire. So we do obviously need those things. And where will the money come from but us? You know, it makes sense, but at the same time, it does take a toll on your wallet.
Car owners would pay these increased fees starting January 1st with their registration at the BMV, replacing both the county vehicle excise surtax and the county wheel tax with new flat fees.
Most car owners would pay a $100 county vehicle excise surtax. For comparison, our company paid $35.80 this year on the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek that I drive for work. Council Assistant Majority Leader Andy Nielsen says that the additional fees are needed to meet the $50 million threshold of local funds required to receive the matching state funds for roads.
Marion County residents are paying for this one way or another. Every time you blow a tire, every time you bend a rim, when you're driving your car over these rough roads, that has a cost on your suspension and other component parts of your car. You are paying for this one way or another. What we are doing is we're saying, let's instead fix the roads.
But Mayor Hogsett believes Indy can raise the necessary funds without raising taxes. His statement on the issue concludes, we owe it to our community members to deliver solutions that invest in infrastructure without placing additional financial strain on hardworking families. It is my firm belief that the proposal announced today is not that solution. In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.
In other news now, we now know the name of a 65-year-old woman killed in an East Side shooting that ended with police shooting the suspect. IMPD's investigation started around 8 last night on Rural Street. That's where they found Patricia Weber dead after what police are calling a domestic disturbance. They say 2 people, including the suspect, left the scene and got into another car on the far southwest side. Officers pulled them over and arrested 1 person out Southport and Bluff Road when police say the suspect took off. Officers used stop sticks and a pit maneuver to stop that car. And that's when police say the suspect fired at least 1 shot at officers. 3 officers then returned fire, hitting the man. He is at the hospital in stable condition. No officers were hurt.
And the recount is well underway in Indiana Senate District 23.
That race currently decided by just 2 votes. Incumbent State Senator Spencer Deary winning that primary over Trump-backed challenger Paula Copenhaver. Now, Copenhaver called for a recount and it was granted. So ballots in Vermilion, Park, Warren, and Montgomery counties have already been recounted. Today, ballots in Fountain County are due to be recounted. On Monday, the recount will begin in Tippecanoe County, by far the most populous county in that district. That is expected to last through Tuesday.
Copenhaver also asked to depose 13 voters she claimed voted illegally in the primary. In a new filing with the Indiana Recount Commission, she now says it is unclear if 3 of those votes or those voters actually cast a ballot in the race. So you can learn more about the recount in this week's episode of Crossroads Politics. It premieres at 10 a.m. on Sunday or on demand at any time on the WTHR streaming app. It's a political show that you can get all the ins and outs of what's happening. And right now, city leaders are asking for proposals to find a qualified developer to lead improvement efforts on the old City Hall properties.
This comes after a deal fell through in April to revitalize the site. Now city leaders are asking for input on who could take over.
And they say proposals should prioritize preserving and repurposing the building while developing the surface parking lot. Proposals should also prioritize walkability and elements like storefronts and outdoor seating. Proposals must be submitted by August 28th.
All right, let's get to some sports news now.
Yes, this is what everybody is talking about.
Yeah, it's a big deal right now. The Indiana Pacers wrapped up their 2nd day of pre-draft workouts this afternoon.
Eli Gain was in attendance along with Locked On Pacers Tony East to talk about the organization's process ahead of next month's NBA draft.
Joined now with Tony East of Locked On Pacers. Who else do you want to talk to than Tony right here about the Pacers' approach to the draft despite not having currently any selections in this year's NBA draft, but they have held open workouts with 12 players the last couple of days. What was kind of the evaluation process over these last 2 days and then leading up for the next few weeks or so?
Yeah, you never know what undrafted guys could be there, guys for your G League program, 2 ways, all sorts of reasons to get prospects in your building and see them in person, get to know them before they're tied to another team. So still a lot of value in this part of the process for the Pacers. It is interesting for these players coming in here knowing the Pacers are one of 2 teams without a pick in this draft. They know that coming in, but they're still trying to impress everybody that they can, and the Pacers still have to do it as usual. High pace, see what guys can fit in their program and their culture. So it's been fascinating to see guys, even in these weird circumstances, come in the building.
Out of the 12 over the last 48 hours, what do you think was a pretty good fit? Was there anyone that you were surprised to see get an invite here?
Yeah, Emmanuel Sharp from Houston is the guy I've seen on the most actual mock drafts to be picked somewhere, right? And so, you know, that they don't have a pick. So for him to come and show up says something about what his goals are for this process, but also the kind of range the Pacers could be looking for if they do maybe trade in or try to get somebody, you know, in some way to get a rookie onto their team in this process. And they've had a couple guys of, you know, decent college careers or really good final seasons. So some guys that are surprising names, but he's the one I think with the most draft caliber that people know of at this process so far.
Tony East of Locked On Pacers for all of your Pacers talk. Tony, appreciate it as always. Once again, that's Tony East, and I'm Eli Gain for 13 Sports.
All right, going to be lots to watch for with the Pacers in the offseason. I'm sure a lot of people hoping for a better season than this one was. Still ahead, more artists are bowing out of the Freedom 250 Fest. We've got the remaining performers as of today.
And we've been spending time talking about how long this pattern's going to stick around with scattered showers. Those scattered showers eventually will return. They're starting to appear in the 7-day. I'll show you coming up.